Welcome back. In the last set of videos, we integrated a modern testing framework into our backend using the Jest and Supertest libraries. We also did a refactor of our RateMySetup API to ensure that we're allowing users to register with their email and username, and also encoding their usernames in our JSON Web Tokens instead of their emails. That will enhance or increase security and make sure that sensitive information isn't stored in something like a JSON Web Token, which isn't encrypted. So anyone who has access to that JSON Web Token can get access to that information. So that's a big plus. On top of that, we refactored our post and rating models to support creating user-owned resources with their username, along with updating our permissions and security middleware to use usernames as well. And we did the whole thing using a test-driven development approach. Now, the TDD methodology is fantastic. It took a long time. So everything in the last series covered that. And if you want to get all the code from where we left off in the last series, you can find that here. And that link is github.com/jaster11/RateMySetupAdvanced API starter with tests. I made it really long so that it's very clear exactly what that is. And that's really just everything we did in the last series up to the very last video. And so I think the first thing you should do is just go ahead and clone that repo locally. Make sure you have it there. And you can rename it if you want, but I'm just going to keep it with the name that's there, and then cd into RateMySetupAdvanced API starter with tests, and do a few things, which is remove git, rm-rf.git, and then git init a fresh git, like before. Looks good. Then let's go ahead and copy the .env template file, .env into a .env file, so that our .env file is available. Looks good. And then we're going to, well, we already have actually. You should probably have the SQL database set up, but if you don't, all you need to do is run psql-f, and then the name of the file is ratemysetup.sql. And that should make sure that that database is set up and ready to go. If you run it, yes, looks good, and it should also run this seed script here, which will seed some dummy data into our database. So at that point, you should have your server up and running. Just to make sure it's working, we'll do npm start. Okay, I have a server already running, I'm guessing. Okay, oh, I haven't installed anything. That's actually a great point. Let's install those dependencies. Good call, thank you for letting me know, Node. Completely forgot. It's going to take a few seconds, it's going to install everything. Then we can run npm start, and it should start up like a charm, and it does. Fantastic. We're in a good place. Now, this video series is actually not going to focus on the backend. So this is all good. We're happy with it. Let's close it. It's working. It's fine. It's running in the other terminal. We feel good about that. We're going to use it to actually build out our front end. And so the front end repo, or at least the starter code for the front end repo, which we also built in a previous series, can be found in a different repo. And you can find that one here at github.com/jaster11/RateMySetupAdvanced UI starter. So go ahead and grab that link and clone that one locally as well. Git clone, bam. Now, once you have this repo locally, we're going to need to do the same thing, a little bit of setup work, which is head in there, cd into RateMySetupAdvanced UI starter. Let's get rid of git, rm-rf.git. Lovely. Let's git init. Fantastic, we got a fresh git. Then we'll go ahead and install all of our dependencies. npm install. And so, well, that's going. Let's, again, explore a little bit of what we have currently. And if you don't remember from the previous series, we did a bunch of work in setting up a front-end architecture where we have centralized all of our API calls inside this API client service. We have some utils for formatting, and we have a set of components that renders the different parts of our application. Now, at the moment, there's a number of things that we haven't really handled in terms of advanced React architecture, and that is going to be the focus of this series. Is we're going to explore some of the pieces that are a little more complicated, they're slightly more advanced, and they're a little bit tougher to understand, but they're actually central to building or to help us manage complexity in our React applications as they grow in size. And so that's the entirety of this series and what this is going to be focused on. And we're going to do that by covering two main topics, which are pretty important, which are custom hooks and React context. But just to make sure that this one works, run an npm start really quickly. Make sure everything is working correctly. And when that server is finished, you should see the rate my setup with our dummy data there. Everything looks good. I feel good about this. Fantastic. Okay, so our code is set up, ready to start working. We're going to get into it in the next video.